having a producer as big as Oz tweet, "I want to buy some producers kits. What do you recommend?" It creates a great opportunity to build community. It creates a great opportunity to promote up and coming producers. So I applaud him for that. But then another successful and wealthy producer comes along, who is Mike Dean, and tweets a link to a notorious Reddit pirating community where drum and sample packs are traded and given away for free. Peace, what's going down? It's a Music Entrepreneur Club podcast. The family's back together. Dame was missed. We got one comment to like the 4 comments that missed Erinn.
I'll take the one comment. Shout out to whoever left that one positive comment. I appreciate you.
I will trade all the comments in the world to just have better internet. I swear my internet only stops working when I need it to continue to work. If I'm making a beat and I don't need the internet's great. It's the fastest thing on the planet. And then I have to do a live or something else. And then without fail, it fails. And then I have to contact them and they go through this whole.
That's exactly how it goes.
Is your modem powered on? I just want to slap the. Ugh.
So for people listening, this is take 2. Then the first take, I really just complained about my back spasms and how difficult this week has been for me. And how at least, Erinn's been having some wins. So I've been able to be happy about that, celebrate that. But let's actually start with another topic so it could just be more real. I don't really want to say what I just said. I'll say it a different way if we talk about something else first.
Yeah, it was pretty controversial and offensive. So yeah, let's switch.
So what did Mike Dean say or do on Twitter?
It actually, what Dame said was not controversial or offensive. So yeah, I have just something. I'm going to try to be as neutral as possible and not at all inject my own opinions into this, which is probably not going to happen completely. I'm going to try, but I want to ask the two of you. So Mike Dean is a veteran in the producer world. Obviously everyone knows his work with Kanye, but he's been doing it for a long time since, the Ghetto Boys. And then there's a newer producer who's undeniably one of the top producers, Oz. I don't know how many massive hits he has. He's definitely a multimillionaire because he's produced like 3 or 4 hit singles in a row. And he recently tweeted that he wanted to buy some new producer drum kits, sample kits, whatever, which is great. And I've seen a lot of successful producers try to give back to the community by periodically purchasing drum kits and sample libraries because we're all a part of the same ecosystem and we want to support one another when we can. So it's great to see a producer at the top support producers who are up and coming and, having him shout out or having him tweet. Having a producer as big as Oz tweet, "I want to buy some producers kits. What do you recommend?" It creates a great opportunity to build community. It creates a great opportunity to promote up and coming producers. So I applaud him for that. But then another successful and wealthy producer comes along, who is Mike Dean, and tweets a link to a notorious Reddit pirating community where drum and sample packs are traded and given away for free. Now, pirating is going to happen. I know that. People are pirating my own kits as we speak. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I also know that a lot of producers who make amazing music and contribute to the culture may not even have careers right now if they hadn't been able to pirate software or kits early on in their careers when they didn't have any money. So I'm not going to get on a soapbox and preach to anybody. I mean, there's a theory out there, I think, I forget which hip hop pioneer, probably more than one, put forth this theory that hip hop culture wouldn't even be what it is today if it weren't for looting in the 1977 New York blackout. But what I'm going to ask you is this. So I feel like Mike Dean had a few options, either to support Oz's post, because Oz asked to buy kits, not pirate them. So he could have supported that post by suggesting some kits that he uses and then saying, yeah, these are worth buying. Or he could have said nothing at all, but he chose to use his platform to encourage and co-sign piracy against his own people. I'm considering us producers Mike Dean's people because we're all doing the same thing, regardless of how big he is and how small the rest of us are. because there are sound designers, there are engineers, there are producers, and a lot of us that create these kits are his fans, are his supporters, people who look up to him. And so I feel like this isn't something that he should openly encourage. Because if I'm openly encouraging the pirating of other producer content, that's money coming out of my close friends' pockets. And none of us are Mike Dean rich. You know what I mean? So why would I'm talking about me as DJ Payne 1. Now, I can't get in Mike Dean's head. Me as DJ Payne 1 at the level that I am, which is like here compared to Mike Dean, I wouldn't encourage that. And I think that was a great opportunity to do something positive, and instead he, being Mike Dean, did something quite the opposite. That's my opinion, but I'm not going to raise my voice or get emotional about it. I'm just that's my reaction to what he did.
I don't think anybody's going to have a different opinion. I mean, the only thing that I can think of is maybe the people that get their kits downloaded could be grateful, maybe, because if they weren't selling, that now they got a lot more downloads. I have no idea. I'm not in the producer community, so if my kit was in there, I'm not sure how I would fit. When you sell a drum kit or a sound kit, does it end at that sale, or is there any publishing that comes from those sound, anything? Or
a drum kit? Yeah, generally sample kits are a mixed bag because they're compositions. So, getting royalties off a snare drum is kind of stupid. I'm sure people have tried, but getting royalties off of, or getting some kind of split on the underlying composition when you're the one who created the majority or a good portion of the underlying composition, that's somewhat typical, somewhat not. I mean, if a kit is advertised as completely royalty free, it's completely royalty free. So yeah, I could see where maybe in like 0.03% of all instances of someone pirating a sample kit and then also getting a placement off that maybe they'll do the right thing and adhere to the terms of the license and cut the original producer in and not have to end up in maybe legal trouble. But I think that's such a small, minute chance. That the overall picture is, I know sound designers, none of these sound designers are rich off sound design, I don't think. I mean, super, super top sound designers are, but there are so many of us out here making kits and packs and this and that. And, we're not even making what Mike Dean spends on weed in a month off of an individual pack. So there were people. It wasn't a straightforward conversation where everyone's like, "Oh man, I can't believe Mike Dean did that." I think there's a big piracy contingent in the producer community because that Reddit thread is huge. That the kit trading and all that is big in the producer community, huge. We as producers love pirating software, pirating kits, this and that. And it is kind of strange when you consider it, because we don't like it being done to our beats. We don't like when our beats get stolen, we throw a fit. So are there different levels? Is pirating a DAW one thing because you're not actually taking money from your peers? That's a company. Is it different from, because with the kits, it's individuals. Like you see their name when you get like, this is a Dope Boys kit. If I'm downloading it for free, I know exactly who, I know their faces, I know their social media, I know exactly who these people are that I'm taking potential money from.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only other benefit is if their name is still attached to it, who the kit came from. Maybe you buy it next time, or maybe you follow them on social media, or maybe you become a fan of their work. I don't. Other than that, I don't really have. I mean, it sucks, but like you said, producers pirate things all the time, so maybe it's just karma. I don't know. Like, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say.
Okay, so next topic.
I don't know.
I feel like I just agree with you, Payne. So I don't have anything. I think he shouldn't have tweeted it. I feel like he could have. Yeah, but I feel like there's nothing else to say because that is the culture of it.
I thought he was going in a complete. I thought when you started telling the story, I thought like obviously Mike Dean is old school, so I thought maybe he had a whole issue with using kids in the first place. I thought that's where you were going with it, but you didn't, and I don't think anybody can disagree with your stance, really.
I mean, they can. I'm not, like I said, I'm not getting on my soapbox and saying, don't do this. If you're broke, you're broke. I get it. Individual creators is part of the game. Individual sound designers and creators are going to do what they do to protect their work. If they catch you pirating, they're going to do what they have to do. And if you feel like that's what you have to do, which is pirate kids, then that's what you're going to do. I think when you have a massive celebrity with a huge platform like Mike Dean weighing in, that's when things get tricky because, you're setting an example. And that's the example that he set. And that's the behavior that he modeled. And so he was saying, yeah, go ahead, green light on piracy. And I feel like that's the problematic part of all of it. Especially since what bothers me when people hijack something positive and just take away from the positivity of the thread. We know damn well what Oz was trying to do. He was trying to give back. If I post, I want to support a local business, or I want to support a woman-owned business, or I want to support a Black-owned business, give me suggestions, and people are giving me suggestions. It's clear what I'm trying to do. My intention is to support these businesses and to support these individuals because that's where my heart is. You know what I mean? And then if someone comes along like a Mike Dean and says, just go to Walmart, just go to Target, then they've just destroyed the spirit of what I'm trying to do. So but
did they though? I'm sure that Oz still followed through with what he intended to do. I don't think he let Mike Dean sway him like, oh wow, there's these free ones over here. Let me go rip these. Like I'm sure he still.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you as an individual with your energy within that overall conversation. Your energy is seeking to destroy the spirit of that conversation.
I feel like people could have wanted to support and been like, oh, well, if if Oz is paying for packs, maybe I should consider supporting. And then you see Mike Dean do this. You're like, oh no, fuck it. I'm just gonna pirate shit. I get that. Cause it's like, or even when people say stuff like that, like I have a local market right down the street from here. And, I go there a lot because I'm trying to support the local community. They hire everybody in the city or in this community, whatever. People all the time are like, Walmart is a mile away and you'll save double. And I'm like, I'm not trying to support the Walton family. Like they don't need my help whatsoever. They don't care about me, but this shop employs people around here. So I get it because when people say stuff like that, logically, it makes more sense to go with the free option or the cheaper option. So I get it. I agree. I feel like he could have tweeted that any other time and it would have been fine. Like nobody would have had an issue, but co-opting a post that was meant for good does seem like you're being shitty for no reason.
That's what I mean. Thank you, Erinn, for summarizing it in probably a less emotional and more eloquent way than I was doing.
Don't worry. I'm good on the emotions. I'm just not a producer. So if it had something to do with something I'm passionate about, I would have been right there with you. I feel you.
Okay, cool. Now we can move on from the emotional pain one stuff.
Erinn, did you have a topic for today?
No, I wanted to hop in. I thought we were going to spend the whole time talking about the NFT stuff.
Oh, so it wasn't even really like just NFTs. I think I posted last week about, people just using hyperbolic language in the music industry, typically to sell stuff. Like a lot of people have hidden motives, like they'll hype things up just because they're invested in it. Right. So you always see, or you're just hyping things up to try to get more traction on social media. So the music industry is filled with this hyperbolic language and we don't really know like what is or isn't a game changer. I wanted to have a quick discussion with you guys about what really has been game changers over the past 10, 15 years for both artists and producers. What does that list look like? And do NFTs fall on that list? And if they're on that list, like how high should they be, in your opinion? So for paying for producers in the past 10 or 15 years, like what what has been absolute game changers for you and your business?
Well, BeatStars, obviously. Otherwise, probably Facebook ads, Instagram ads, platforms like RapChat, AudioMac, game changers, I guess. You could say
yes, I wouldn't.
like,
I mean, RapChat, AudioMac, great platforms, but I definitely can't put them like BeatStars, beat leasing in general. Like that is a game changer, and obviously BeatStars is the king of beat leasing. So
right.
beat leasing for sure. But wouldn't you say some? I don't know how far back Fruity Loops goes, but like Fruity Loops, or
Well, yeah, the DAWs period, just any kind of digital audio workstation. I would say FL definitely is a game changer. Oh, well, then we could go like, then Splice is a game changer. Then Apple Loops are a game changer. Then I don't know, affordable audio interfaces are a game changer. Portable MIDI controllers are a game changer. There are all types of game changers, but that's more like technology for creating music. I'm thinking more in terms of vidIQ or TubeBuddy. Are those game changers? Is MailChimp a game changer? Because definitely those are things that I've used to elevate my business. But in general, I would say, just speaking in terms of the music business, period, I think the game changers are more concepts. Like, I could say Patreon is a game changer, but the concept of Patreon is crowdfunding and membership platforms for individual artists. That's a game changer, because we used to have fan clubs. It's not the same thing. This is actually a source of income for many creatives. And to me, that's huge. And that's why we could say, yes, beat leasing is a game changer. BeatStars is at the forefront of that. The concept changed the game. They just kind of perfected it and tailored it to us. So I feel like that's the same conversation with NFTs, because NFTs aren't a platform. NFTs are more of a
I think actual like products could be game changers too, because I would say, the home studio in general is a game changer to me. For me, from my side of the business and working with artists, like self-service distribution platforms, huge game changer. Social media, game changer. So these are the crowdfunding, I would say, is a game changer. I would even say drop shipping is a game changer, because
that's on my list 100%.
Because you can now, like, you could pretty much start a business with like $100 or like very small money. The smartphone is a game changer, right? Like, so when these are examples of game changers, will NFTs be up there with those? And I don't know. Like, I'm skeptical. Like, I'm a believer in NFTs, and I think they're cool, creative, and they're going to provide another stream of income for artists that are able to figure it out in an authentic way and provide unique experiences for their fans. And they might be a game changer, but I don't think they're going to be up there with like some of the things that we've just mentioned. In my opinion, I could be converted, but there's people on Twitter that are trying to convince me that NFTs are going to replace labels and managers and things like that. And I think that's a bit extreme. We've had technology to move the industry in a better direction for decades. We've had technology to make payments faster. We've had technology to make things more transparent, deals more transparent, but there's no real incentive for the industry to move in that direction, because there's so many people happy with the way things are and so much money being made that it's difficult to incentivize the industry as a whole to move in a particular direction, or force the industry as a whole to move in a particular direction. And I just don't know if this is the tech that forces or incentivizes, because that's what you need. Like, you got to force the industry to do something or incentivize the industry to do something, because a lot of people are happy with the way things are. I'm kind of waiting on the sidelines and trying to educate myself to better understand what the potential is for Web3, NFTs, and I have at least a decent understanding now, not a super strong one, not as where I want to be. So maybe I don't understand exactly where these people are coming from, but that's what I'm trying to do now is educate myself, because I don't see NFTs up there just yet with some of the things that we just mentioned.
I think it's kind of the mechanism too. It's like streaming was revolutionary, but streaming was around way before Spotify, right? I was streaming music so the way music streaming first started is you could pay, I think it was like $5 to stream any 10 songs on repeat for a month or a week or something like that. I had this.
Who had that service? What was that?
They were bought by Deezer when Deezer did their rebrand. I can't remember. I think it was Napster. So when Napster transitioned, they transitioned to a paid service, but it didn't take off, right? And there was one other one I'm talking about 4 or 5 years before Spotify even announced. I had this. So then Spotify announced, and it still took people 3-4 years to get into Spotify. And I had been streaming music. And then that platform grew to where it did the same thing as Spotify. I can't remember what it was called. I had it, even when I had iPhones, I had it on my phone. I fully switched over to Spotify maybe 5 years ago, but I had been streaming at least 5 years prior to Spotify. So I think streaming is revolutionary, but Spotify was the game changer because they figured out how to create mass consumption of the game-changing technology. That's what I feel like for NFTs. I think that NFTs could be game-changing technology. I think they are changing a lot of people's lives. Like you were talking about, like even like the early adopters, stuff like that. I think when there is a platform where their usefulness can be easily understood by the creative community, then NFTs will completely revolutionize the game. I think because of Web3 plus, all the stuff that we're moving into, NFTs are just going to become a reality because they're shoving it down our throat. Because the way that social media is created, they tell us what we want. We don't really tell them what they want because social media is tech and not really creative. Well, it's focused on tech and allows for creation. I think it's going to be shoved down our throat. NFTs are going to be the thing. And I think the reason that people say this is game changing is because nobody can really define what its focus or what its outcome can be. Same with the internet. When the internet first came around, everybody who got in early won big, even though they didn't understand it. I think people love the allure of being in on something that other people don't understand, but they don't really understand. Like at its core, NFTs are stupid. At its core, the internet is stupid. But when you figure out how to capitalize on it and really turn it into something, like we're launching our first NFT in February. So I'm not sitting here as a detractor. Like we have an entire platform built out for Build Your Own Dreams. And then we have our artists on our platform and we're launching our first artist NFT in February. So it's not something that I'm coming from a completely ignorant standpoint. Like we have a whole team around it, but I do believe that more of my purpose is to get in early so that we can, if there's money there, we're going to capitalize on it. We're going to make it work, but also not to be left behind. But I'm with you. People who say it's going to replace labels, it's going to replace managers. My first question is, have you ever been signed to a label? And do you have a manager? And have you ever made money off of, like real money off of music? And most people can't answer yes to all three. Most have had either a label or a manager or have made money. All three of those, and this is not to shit on anybody, all three of those I have been or experienced. And I'm telling you right now, this is just like everything else that people, again, I think it's going to be the next thing. I know it's going to be the next thing because of the way that the internet is developing, but you're not going to replace somebody like me with technology. The one thing that people have been saying since technology has been around, like the industrial age, people are like, machines are going to replace humans. It's never happened. Humans need humans.
Yeah, the replacing manager thing is just ridiculous. Like I said on Twitter, like most artists need a manager to help them figure out how to mint the NFT in the first place. So how is the NFT going to replace the manager? That was just ridiculous. The cat that tried to convince me of that has now been kind of shamed off of Twitter because he got accused of being a scam. I don't want to name his name because I don't know him and I don't know if it's true. But the Adam was going, that the lawyer Adam, they had a back and forth. And he kind of got shamed off of Twitter for being a scammer. But if you're a first mover for anything, there's typically, gold to be mined. But I'm thinking like after people better understand NFTs. Like just imagine, obviously there's 60,000 songs getting uploaded to Spotify every day, and that number is probably higher at this point. So let's just imagine the point at which all of those are NFTs. Like where is the market for that? Like where are the collectors? It might be some collectors for early NFTs, but as 60,000 NFTs get minted every single day, like who's going to buy that? And when you go further out, because part of the incentive for NFTs is the resale option. Hopefully you resell the NFT for a price higher than you paid for it. Like I just don't see collectors far out like paying more from some random cat's NFT. Maybe if that person ends up being Ariana Grande, Adele, some big star, of course, you'd be happy that you have their first NFT. But the reality is 0.001% of artists are going to reach that level of success, and these NFTs are going to be worthless. So it's really just people that want to support artists kind of in a Kickstarter fashion. In my opinion, that's what I like, because when Kickstarter first came out, there were people doing $100,000 raises, $1 million raises. I think that's how Lil Dicky did his. Lil Dicky raised over 100,000 for his, I think, professional rapper project. So that's kind of how I see this. And so I'm not shitting on them. I think that they're, and obviously it's different than a Kickstarter. I'm not saying it's the exact same thing, but I see some similar vibes from this wave of NFT enthusiasm as I did with a Kickstarter, because that's part of the purpose that these NFTs seem to be serving. So I would encourage artists, learn, get in now, like they're not going away, but there's a higher likelihood of success selling NFTs now than there probably will be in even a year's time, 2 years time, because the market's going to get flooded. I see random people offering NFT. All these NFT campaigns can't be going well. I'm sure
people who have less than 1,000 monthly listeners talking about, I'm launching my NFT. Who is going to buy it?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like artists just want things to be easy. I've said this before, a career in music, especially an independent career in music, was never designed to be easy. It's reserved for a very small percentage of artists. NFTs are going to create some opportunities for more artists, but it's still going to be reserved for a very small percentage of artists, in terms of those that can have a successful music career. And that's just the way it's going to be. And nothing's ever going to change that.
Well,
and you have to know, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Payne.
Well, I was just going to say, I have a lot to say about this, but I lost my train of thought. I think a lot of it's wishful thinking. Like people are saying NFTs are going to replace labels. They're going to replace managers just because they want them to. Streaming and the MP3 and all of these things that really were disruptive to the industry ended up being co-opted by the industry. There's nothing disruptive about streaming anymore. In fact, streaming is what a lot of artists are rebelling against, because streaming is now the establishment. But it started as Napster. It started as the most controversial thing ever to the label establishment. And now look at it. It's Spotify. It's Daniel Ek talking about artists need to shut up about our royalties. So what changed was that it became the norm, so much so that platforms, larger platforms that people already were using, or huge wealthy companies invested in it and created a system so that consumers could easily digest this technology. Spotify is very easy for the consumer. Right now, an NFT is not easy for just the average consumer. The average person who listens to music doesn't know what an NFT is. The people who do know what an NFT is, the majority of them can't even tell you what the initialism stands for. And the people who can tell you what it stands for can't define what the word fungible means. So let's be honest, it's not that accessible yet. And so in order to make it accessible, what's going to happen? A bunch of artists with 1,000 followers are going to sell an NFT? No, it's. I hate to say this, but it's going to, because consumers are just, they're the masses. They chase what's trendy. Again, I hate to say this, but I see it happen all the time, and I hope that I'm wrong. They're just going to follow the trends, and the trends are set by the celebrities, and the celebrities are paid by the establishment. So we're going to see a Facebook or a Spotify or some big company adopting NFTs and delivering them in an easy way for consumers. That's going to change things. That's going to make it a part of our regular music consumption practices. And once that happens,
it's already happening. I mean, it's already happening. I was just
I haven't seen it yet.
Nike bought a Web3 company. Coca-Cola launched some NFTs. L'Oreal launched some NFT. Like
DistroKid.
Pepsi. No, it was Pepsi, not Coke. My bad. But I think it was Pepsi. DistroKid just did an NFT campaign that I was reading about yesterday. Like that. I mean, it's definitely already happening. But Payne, that's a great point, because it's the same thing with there was a kid yesterday. I don't even know if he was a kid, but he responded to me. He was like, yeah, we just need to move away from streaming. Like, the shit is easy. Like, streaming is not just embedded in the music industry now. Yeah. Like, the labels have ownership in Spotify, and they have the biggest catalogs with the music that most people want to hear. Right. So you think people are going to be like, all right, I got access to Beyonce and Michael Jackson's catalog over here, but I'm going to go over here to whatever streaming platform that has like Joe Smo, and you can't just pull streaming. You can't just move people away from streaming like it's right. a coffee or something.
No, but and the thing too is that I just want to end my rant on the financial element matters, right? And so how can you with a straight face say NFTs are going to replace the labels when it's the labels that are probably going to fund the popularization of NFTs? And by that point, the labels have co-opted it, just like they co-opted. Remember when they were so resistant to the MP3 and they tried to fight Napster? What ended up happening? Streaming happened. And now the labels own all of that. That's why we're always complaining. That's why artists are always complaining about how low of a market share us as songwriters and producers and everything have in the streaming business. And we're complaining about our royalty rates. It's because the labels are taking the majority of that, because they worked out partnerships with all the streaming platforms. How are NFTs going to be any different when they get to the point where they're so popular that NFTs are the new Spotify or NFTs are the new CD?
NFTs are so much more expensive too. That's another thing. Like, I feel like people don't understand. This is why I know people don't understand it. In order for you to even start on any crypto wallet, unless I'm mistaken, you have to put in at least $50, right? So that means that your NFT either has to be priced at $50, or you have to hope that people are going to give away their additional, or they're going to basically sign up for your NFT, spend $50 and only pay 10, right? So that's even something we had to deal with. We realized our NFT has to start at $50, because to load money onto the digital wallet, you have to load at least 50 to get started, right? So from there, if we're looking at a critical mass is 100 people or 1,000 people that'll spend at least $100 on you. You're telling me that brand new fans are going to just jump in and spend 50% of what most artists can't get their regular fans to spend. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, most artists don't have a critical mass. They do not have 1,000 people that'll spend $100 on them. And now you're telling me that the entry point for something that you don't understand, much less your fans, is $50. I'm not seeing it. Why would I not go buy another pair of shoes or have a nice dinner? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, even for me, I consider myself a super fan of music. Obviously, I work in it, but I spend money in music. I love art. I'm not spending $50 on anybody personally. I'm not spending $50 on anybody's NFT, especially, I know it's a running joke where people are like, well, I could just screenshot it, but if I'm going to collect art, I want it to hang in my house. And I get that they're saying because of Web3, we're going to start spending 90% of our time on the internet. Maybe I'm just old. So maybe it's for the kids, but I can't see myself saying I have to log into the internet to see my art.
That shit is scary when people say we're going to spend 90% of the time, like
who's invested in Web3 already? Who's already established in Web3? Facebook?
Social media. All the social media companies.
But that's what I'm saying. Facebook. And who does Facebook have partnerships with? Universal Music Group, Warner. Like that it's already written. I'm sorry to say. And again, someone prove me wrong with actual facts, not just I feel like, or I'm pretty sure that, or you know. I don't know.
Like, how is it a decentralized internet when all the biggest companies own it?
Thank you again, eloquence. Thank you, Erinn.
The people that say that NFTs are going to replace labels are the same people that think that labels are just a bank. That it's the same group of people, and they really just don't understand labels or how the music industry works or how a star becomes a star. So that's why when I host this Twitter space, I want to make sure that it's people that are believers in NFT, like heavy believers, but also like come from the music industry, because, you know, even when I ran Funk Volume, like there were always new apps that wanted to, you know, leverage us to our audience, and they would have great technology, but they never understood our fans. They didn't understand music. And I kept telling them, like, look, this is cool, but you don't have anybody at your company that understands music. You guys are going to fail. I promise you. Like, it's different over here. It's not always logical and rational. Like, it's not, you have to understand the culture. And I just think that this heavy NFT crowd, like this extreme NFT Web3 crowd, they're either don't understand the music industry or have some kind of hidden motive for the platform that they're pushing, or, you know, it's just, so we just have to watch for another wave of scams because they're already happening in the NFT space. It's going to get ridiculous because it's already a space that people don't really understand that well. I really don't understand that well. So a lot of people are going to get taken advantage of for sure in this space. So you'll have a lot of stuff to complain about, Payne. More scams.
Well, I don't want to complain. I don't like these conversations because they're just kind of pointless. You just can't. There's no resolution, and people just want to argue. So,
but we want to position people to have success. So I would definitely not saying that NFTs are stupid. I know Erinn did say NFTs are stupid, but she didn't mean, and it like she's also planning to launch her own campaign. Like, there's definitely an opportunity here if you're fast and you're creative. And I think it's more so about like creating utility for the NFT, like an experience. What does the NFT give your fans access to? Like that's going to be the cooler piece rather than just minting a song as an NFT or a album cover or some shit like that. Like,
no, what I don't think people are understanding is that an NFT is like any other tool at a musician's disposal, which is that if you use it correctly and if your brand is right and you understand how to sell it to your friends, how to deliver it to your fans in a way that they actually see the value of, then you're fine. Use it by all means. None of us are saying don't use NFTs. I'm getting a migraine because of the conversation about NFTs replacing labels, or NFTs replacing girlfriends, or NFTs replacing pet fish, or you know what? Like, it's just, come on, guys.
It's the tool.
I don't want to have that conversation anymore. The last conversation I had, the guy was like, well, here's a situation to make it real for you. Let's say you have, I swear he said 50 million or 100 million Instagram followers and you mint an NFT. Like, already the conversation is ridiculous because I can't even name somebody. Drake doesn't even have that many. He has a fraction of that. And it's like, if you're already using an established celebrity as the example for how an NFT can work, there goes your whole argument. So it was I've never had an argument with, like, I know there are, like, Illmind uses NFTs and he really understands that world. I've never heard him say it's going to replace the label, though. There are tons of people who are utilizing NFTs who understand the music business landscape and are doing a great job. But here's the thing. These are people who, without NFTs, were already successful. And if NFTs never came along and if blockchain technology never came along, they would continue to be successful because they know what the hell they're doing. And there's intrinsic value and there's perceived value in what they deliver. And that's what it is to me. That's what all of this is to me. That's what the music business is.
Yeah, NFTs are not a substitute for your whack music, for your turtleneck music.
Turtleneck music.
For your lack of marketing, for your lack of fan base.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you still have to do the same thing that you would have to do if we just had CDs. And that, to me, is about building community and having a compelling story and making, art that people can connect with. So yeah, but if you can hustle a few people in the early days and get a few dollars, I mean, do that. Because there probably are some,
not hustle. Serve your fans well. If you can add it to your rollout.
Right. No, but there's probably some, I mean, because I'm sure there's some people just on the collector side that are like, oh, I just need an NFT, like any NFT, and I'm going to be able to sell it for 10 times what I bought it for. But the hype is already starting to chill out a little bit, like, because NBA Top Shot, like I bought some. I'm a fan of the NBA, so I don't mind spending $7, $10, and because on Top Shot you get these moments where you buy. I think you buy a pack and you get like 3 moments, and it's kind of like it's reminiscent of opening a pack of baseball cards when I was younger, and I was a huge fan of collecting baseball cards. But even baseball cards is a good example of, like, there was a lot of hype around baseball cards when I was younger. And then, like, there were so many different versions of baseball cards. Like, early days, like, it was just baseball cards. There was no, like, special card or anything. You would just, like, hope for the best player. And then as baseball cards progressed, you would hope to get, like, a hologram in your pack or, like, an insert card in your pack. And that was, like, the special thing. And then fast forward a little while later, like, every card in the pack looked like that. Every card could be a hologram. Every card could be chrome. And then there were just so many different types of cards that it kind of diluted the value of it. Right. So I wish I would have sold all my baseball cards, like, while it was kind of hot. And I don't know about Beanie Babies, but obviously
I was just about to say Beanie Babies. Same thing.
Can you still? I mean, I'm sure you can still sell a few of the Beanie Babies for a high price.
The baseball cards are coming back around. A lot of celebrity kids are getting into that.
So it has its waves, like, but I typically wish I would have, even my comics, like, I still got a hell of comics. I just wish I would have sold them all, like,
but nobody back then said baseball cards are going to replace the stock market.
Right.
So
yeah, but I just know these
baseball cards are going to replace IRAs.
These things have their waves. There was somebody else that tweeted the other day. I think her name's Arlen, and she tweeted, like, Pogs crawled so NFTs could run or something like that. I don't know if you guys remember Pogs.
Yeah, hell yeah, I remember Pogs.
Pogs were like those little circle things, and they had a lot of value. They were just like circle cardboard. They were like, you play this game where they're turned over, and then you slam it with a slammer, and then the ones that you turn over, you get to keep. And some of those Pogs and even slammers became worth money, but that was something that came and went. You can't sell a Pog for anything at this point. But
I remember when Pokemon Go was huge.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, this is the future of gaming. Every game will be on your phone and live action, and and people died, people got bored, and then it was gone in a year.
That's kind of Web3, right? In a way.
For sure. And I was about to say, but I do think that because of Pokemon Go, it's going to inform the way that Web3 games are played.
Okay. So we're not saying that NFTs are going away like Pogs or Beanie Babies, because there's definitely some utility there. But just in terms of the excitement, or that initial excitement the dust will settle and we'll figure out, where NFTs really play a role and add value in the music industry.
Great way to end. Tune in live every single week, twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on beatstars.live. That's the website. If you want to get informed as to when we go live, just text us. What's the number, Dame?
The number is 844-206-7800. So just text MEC to 844-206-7800. We're going to text before we go live. We got some really dope sessions coming up, and then into the new year. I'm excited about some of the guests we have. So make sure you tap in with us. It's free. I don't really see a reason not to tap in unless you know everything about the music industry. So,
and if you do, we want you as a guest. So tap in.
Yes. Right.
Appreciate you for tuning in. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.